Hello students, let's talk about the problem solving steps that we're going to be using for this class. 4 steps, and here they are on the screen. The first thing while you're reading the problem is you want to list the information from the steps. This is the information that the problem is giving us. That's what this part here, A, is, list the information given. And you also want to list what it is that you're asked to find. That's the unknown variable. Sometimes there's more than one. Once we have that list, then we want to write out the equations. This is where you use your formula sheet and you find the equations that are similar to the information that was listed in the problem solving steps. And you may need to rearrange those equations using either a little bit of algebra over here, or there are some tricks that I can show you to help so you don't have to use as much algebra. Then once we have the equation ready to go, we take the information from up here that we listed, we plug it into our equation, and this is where we show all of the work, plugging the numbers into the equation, including your units. Very important, because these are not just numbers, they're in fact measurements. Once you have everything there, the equation tells you what you're supposed to do math-wise: multiply, divide, add, subtract. Use your calculator for the math, but you need to be careful because you want to make sure that once you have your final answer, that you also include units. While you're doing that and you get your final answer, ask yourself, does it make sense? Does the answer that I have make sense? Does it answer the question, or is it just kind of outrageous? If it doesn't make sense, then perhaps there's a mistake, and we can go back and you can find out where that mistake is. So let's do a practice problem or two, and we'll see how we use these problem-solving steps. Okay, let's do the first problem. So the first problem, we're asked to find what the speed is equal to. So speed is our unknown. It says that we walked or traveled a distance of 1 meter, and then we did so in a time interval of 0.5 seconds. We use, to represent time, delta t for our change in time. The equation that we have for speed, average speed, is distance divided by time. So this equation, we don't have to do anything else to it because we're asked to find what speed is, and this reads S equals. No algebra required for this practice problem. Now let's put all the numbers in. So we have speed equals, the distance is 1 meter, and the time is 0.5 seconds. Notice I'm keeping my units in my work. 1 divided by 0.5 is 2, and the units are meters per second. So the units here are the same as the units that we have in our answer. So the answer to our first practice problem is simply 2 meters per second. Number 2, for this problem we're asked to find a distance. So d is our unknown. It gave us an average speed of 10 meters per second, and it gave us a time interval of 40 seconds. Same equation as above, speed equals distance divided by time. However, for this problem, we need the equation to read d equals because we're trying to find distance, but in this configuration it reads s equals. So you can use a little bit of algebra, or for this particular equation we have a triangle trick. D goes on the top, s, and then delta t goes on the bottom. As long as you have d on the top for don't stop thinking, it doesn't matter what order you have the speed or the time underneath. So what I need to do then is I need to rearrange this equation so it says d equals. If I were to cover up the d, then I have s next to delta t. So I have s times delta t. And that's the equation that we use to find our distance. Now there's no guessing, I just put the numbers in. So my equation reads d equals, my speed is 10 meters per second, and the time is 40 seconds. The equation tells me I need to multiply, so I have 400 meters. Now let's take a look very quickly to see where the points come in. In the first one, this right here, that's listing the information. That would be the first point, or the first step. We've already got it boxed over here. This will be the second step. Showing all of our work with units is the third step. And then lastly, the last point, the last step, is the answer with units. Over here, listing information, first step, and then writing the equation and getting all the way to our final equation that reads D equals, that's our second step. Putting the work in, the numbers with the units, third step, and then our final answer is lastly the fourth step. So that's how we do it. That's how we do our problem solving steps, and we'll continue to use this method throughout the whole course. I'll see you in class.